Hello everyone, it's Louise here from Busy Mum Homestead, and I'm just coming to you today with a different video and a quick one. Well, it will be quicker than what I normally post. As I've mentioned in a video that you will see coming out later, I have a friend coming to stay on Tuesday for a couple of days, and I'm really trying to get the house clean, and I have a lot on my plate this week, a huge amount of stuff to do. And I really don't think I'm going to have time to finish up the video I'm currently doing and edit it and get it out to you. So I'm going to cheat. I'm just recording this quick introduction now. I'll say it again. And then I'll come back and post and edit it tonight and then hopefully get it out to you. This video series, it was a series of small videos that I posted on my TikTok 3 years ago now at Christmas time. And I thought it might be interesting to share here on my homesteading videos. I am a knitter. I have been knitting basically my whole life. My nan actually taught me to knit when I was 6 years old, and knitting has always been a passion and a hobby of mine, and it has been extremely meditative and relaxing and great when I was going through really stressful periods in my life, or times when I had to use my brain a lot. So when I was at university, I really got back into knitting because it felt so good to do something with my hands again while my brain was really being worked and being active. And then I knitted when my kids were little, but when I separated from the kids' father and I was going through so much stress and court and all those things, I found knitting to be very calming. I went through a period of depression and anxiety, diagnosed severe. And so knitting really helped me through those times of life. And what I really loved about it was that I could rest and be on the lounge knitting, and my kids could be there with me, and we could be interacting, and we could be doing the day when they were little, and I could still be doing something that I felt I was accomplishing for myself. So I was, seeing progress being made in something, and it was helping me be in a calmer state, because it is kind of meditative. They have proven that. There has been studies recently, but I found that way before these studies that it helped me really calm down. And do I believe that knitting has a place in a homestead? Absolutely. I believe it is a skill that we should all have. And I know many male knitters. I'm not just talking to females here. And actually, a lot of the male knitters are quite good that I have met, and they do quite well. And it is a skill, but it is definitely an easy skill, I believe, to pick up. You just need, hopefully these videos will help you and break it down enough. I don't know that I was the best teacher, and the way I was recording, it wasn't very easy to show you all of the stitches, and I did sometimes go out of frame, but then I did bring it back. So just stick with it. But I hope that it actually helps you. And if you learn to knit from this, please let me know. Give it a go. It's not that hard. It's just getting used to the steps. And once you do the steps right, and then you get practice at it, yeah, it comes along. It just takes practice. If you have any questions, if you try it and you don't know what you're doing wrong, just drop a comment and let me know, and I would definitely try and help you. As I mentioned, I knitted a lot when my children were little, and I actually used it to try and bring in extra money for us. I had my own shop, Erica Louise Elm. I don't know if anyone's actually heard of it that would be watching this. I had a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and an Etsy shop. And I also used to sell to a couple brick and mortar shops here in Australia. So I sold to one here in Tasmania at Evandale, but I also sold to Kyneton, I think that's how you say it, in Victoria, the old auction house. So I used to sell there. I stopped recently, only a couple of years ago, and that was more because I was overwhelmed. I was still studying at that time my psychology degree, and working full-time and being a mum, and then trying to knit up a heap of beanies to sell, to ship over once a year to them. It was just getting a bit much. So I pulled the pulled the plug on it. But I'm actually half thinking about going back to it. So, and my Etsy shop has been on vacation mode for a couple of years because I just didn't want to deal with Etsy. But my websites have never really taken off. And I think I might even still have a website active with like 5 things on it, but I've not updated the prices in a long time. But I do, if you want to check out my Instagram, it's elm __ Erica Louise, and that's still there. And my Facebook page is Erica Louise Elm. It's still there. I haven't taken them down, but I haven't posted on any of those in quite a while. But anyway, knitting has been my love and my passion, and I made these videos in response to a friend, I suppose, a TikTok friend. Not really a friend, who was a homesteader but more of a prepper in the US. Anyway, she posted a video about trying to find some wool blankets to prepare for worst case scenarios. And she couldn't find any. And I said to her, well, you could learn to knit and make one yourself. It's, you know, yes, it would take longer than buying one. But if you wanted to, it's definitely a skill you could easily pick up. And so I kind of sent these videos to her. So the first one, you'll notice that I kind of talk to someone a little bit, and that's because I was sending it to her. But yeah, I put them up on TikTok. Not many people have seen them at all. And I just thought it would be a good short video to share today in place of doing a full scale video, as I'm very committed to trying to get out consistently a video a week. In it, I make a cotton dishcloth, which I have many of them. I mentioned that in there. They are the one thing I really am strongly for. You know, and on a homestead, we can use those things all the time, and even just in every other home. And yeah, having the skill as a homesteader, I think, is really a really good practical thing to have. If, you know, things were to go really south and the world collapsed, having these kind of skills under your belt is going to help keep you warm, keep you clothed, and all of that. And in fact, I actually sew as well. And I'm not the best sewer, but I can sew. And I have made shirts for myself and little things for myself over the years. Sewing is something I want to get more into, but being so busy as a single mum with 3 kids and then working full time, I haven't had a lot of time to spend on sewing. And it's definitely something I want to get into a bit more. And also because when you go to the shops, I can never find clothes that I actually like or fit into, and sewing can really help with all of that. So having these practical skills under your belt, I think, is hugely important as a prepper, homesteader, or even just an everyday person. Like I said, knitting is extremely meditative, and we all need that in our lives. And sitting there knitting while watching TV is a great way to unwind after a hard day at work or on the homestead, whatever it is that you do. And I love nothing more than having a cold winter's day rugged up by the fire with a ball of wool and knitting needles in my hand and sitting there watching a movie or something with the kids, and I get to make something. I tell you, there really is no better use of your time, and I just love it. I really do. So I want to encourage as many people as possible to pick up knitting. It seems a lot harder than what it is. And if people want me to go into more depth and do more instructional type videos on it, I absolutely can. The only thing I was just thinking, circling back, was with that lady of knitting blankets. I said to her, like, if you could get bigger needles and bigger wool, it'll knit up a lot quicker, and you can actually have something functional in not a very long amount of time at all. These dishcloths are a great project to start with because they're not very big, and you could just do garter stitch or knit stitch the whole way. I show you how to do knit and purl in the video. You don't have to learn purl if you don't want to, but why not? It's just simple. It's just basically the opposite of what you're doing with knit. but anyway, you could just do garter stitch ones and they work fine too. You can do them on bigger needles and have more gap in between them so they wash out easier. You can make them on small needles. It doesn't really matter. And yeah, I just throw them in with my tea towels when I do a tea towel wash and reuse. So, and at the end of their life, you can compost them because they're cotton. As long as you use 100% cotton, you can compost them. And they're cheap. You can buy a ball of yarn, cotton yarn from Spotlight, I think for $3.40 it used to be, and you'd get 2.5 dishcloths out of that. So if you get 2 balls, then you can get 6 and you get the half and half color if you want. So yeah, it's really great. I love them. I use them. They're really great in place of scourers too. They're not as good as the scourer sometimes, but I find that the ridges and that really help to get things clean really well. Yeah, and I just wash them and wash them and wash them until they die and keep using them and love them. So that's the other thing I was going to say. You can actually arm knit blankets as well and scarves and things. And I actually used to do that for my shop. I used to arm knit some cows, big long ones. And you can definitely do that. So if anyone's interested in arm knitting, I can actually show you how to do that as well if you want. Yeah, I can... Whatever you want, let me know in the comments and I can put up a video for it. But yeah, so I recorded these videos previously and I just thought I might just throw them up and see what you think. As I said, I think knitting is a huge skill that we should all have, and I don't believe that we should lose these skills, and the value that they have in our lives might be a little bit different in that we don't have to knit ourselves jumpers. We don't have to knit all of our clothes anymore, and that's a good thing. But I think having the skills to be able to do it and to, like I said, get the value of relaxation out of it and having seen yourself achieve something is really great. And I want to say to anyone that's ever tried to knit anything and they failed or think they failed or think they did a terrible job, that just keep going. Just keep going and make something else, and you improve every single time you knit. And sometimes, even though I've been knitting basically my whole life, I stuff up and I make a mistake and something looks shit and I have to unpull it. And I regret it. And sometimes I just knit without thinking and do something weird, and then I have to unpull it and start again. Like, even to the best of us, what I say the difference between an experienced knitter and a beginner knitter is that the experienced knitter knows how to undo the mistakes that they make. So and make it and fix it so it doesn't look like there's any mistakes. Doesn't mean that we don't make any mistakes, because we still do. And that's what comes with sometimes watching a TV show while you're knitting or something. You can just miss the stitch or just drop one occasionally if you're not watching it, although I don't do that anymore. Dropped stitches mainly come from tension issues. So if you've got your knitting too tight and then you're trying to pull it up and you pull it off, but you can also fix that. So I can show you how to fix problems if you want as well. Yeah, that's what I say. An experienced knitter just knows how to fix all the mistakes compared to a beginner knitter. So don't give up and keep going. I really do think it's a worthwhile skill, and I want to make it normal, because it is normal. It's not daggy. It's not something to be made fun of. And there has been a rise in knitting over the last few years, and I love every single minute of it. And I think that it's fabulous, and everyone should learn how to knit again, even if you are a man, because like I said, I know some men that can really knit. Their tension usually is incredible. I don't know what it is, but they seem to have that smoothness down a lot of the time. Anyway, there are different ways to knit. I knit in the old-fashioned, I don't know what they call it, throw and something. I can't remember what it's called. And it does take a lot of effort that way compared to the newer methods, but I don't know the newer methods, and I tried it a couple of times and I don't know, I couldn't get the hang of it. I need someone there to show me more than trying to watch videos. So, but I hope that these videos help you. And I've just done 15 minutes of yap, I am so sorry. I do like to yap. I try to keep it down, but I just, oh, yeah, it doesn't happen, does it? So anyway, enjoy these videos. I was sick with COVID at the time. It was New Year's Eve, actually, I think, when I did these videos. My kids were away at their dad's, so I had the presents waiting for when they got home. But yeah, I was sick with COVID, so it's not the best sound, and I do cough a little bit. I'm sorry. So if you wanted me to remake them, I could, absolutely. I could also show like bigger needles and things like that. So, and if anyone does want a knitted beanie, I make my own designed beanie, the cable hats that I've been making for over 15 years. So yeah, reach out if you're interested, and I'll hook you up. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, let's not throw away knitting as a skill for homesteaders, because it's a huge skill and a valuable one, and a great way to relax and unwind, especially in those wintry cold days when you've got not much better to do. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and let me know what you think of it, and I'll see you again next week. All right, bye.
Okay, I apologise for being sick, but I want to do some knitting, and I thought I would get on and show you how to do the cast on and knitting that I talked about. So it's really hard to film this without anyone to help me, but just wanted to show you, this is what I've been doing. This is the thumbtail method, or the long tail cast on, I should say. And I'm going to show you this first because the cast on edge is the prettiest, and it's also really good, and I use this in basically every cast on that I do now. It seems a bit confusing and it's a little bit hard, but I'm going to try and show you, and hopefully you'll understand. I don't know if I've got a long enough tail. About that. My phone just fell. I don't know if I have a long enough tail. I might have to undo this, actually. That's the trouble with this method, is that you have to guesstimate how many stitches you need and how much yarn you need beforehand. Sorry, I'm having brain farts because I am not thinking. I might have to just undo this, actually. Hang on. Okay, so back to the beginning. Hopefully you can see this okay. It's kind of hard to... So how I do it, and I don't know if it's correct, but see how there's two tails? You do a slip knot type thing, which you just do it like the shoelaces. I don't do it any special way. And you sort of, I put my index finger in between the two stitches, and I take one onto that side. So I'll go in, take it over there, and then I put my thumb in and grab the other side and hold it tight, and underneath I've kind of holding it like that. And then it's kind of, if you played cat's cradle. So yeah, as I was showing you, put your fingers in. Oh my gosh, no, it's fallen off. Hold it with those two fingers on your palm. So you go in, hold it tight. Hopefully you can see this. Hold it tight. I go under that one and sort of twist, and then I go under that one. Did I do that right? And then pull it. So under, twist, yeah, I did that right. Okay, I'm just getting confused because I'm slowing it down. So you kind of hold your stitches on the needle, sorry, with your finger, hold it down, go underneath there, kind of holding the yarn tight, over that one, and just under, holding it like that, and through that one, and then pull. Now, I don't know 100% if I've got this absolutely accurate, because me being the way I am and the way my brain works, I was trying to learn from like pictures and things, and I don't know if I've got it correct, but this is the way I cast everything on, and I do all my knitted beanies and that for the shop this way, and I've never had a problem, so it does work. So you go under, over, through, pull, under, I hope you can see this, over, through, and pull. It's really hard to check, and I can do this really quickly. Anyway, so you just go under, under that one and through, and yeah, it's really quite simple once you get the hang of it. So under this one, under that one, through the loop. Another way I will show you that is a traditional cast on method. So I'm going to do a couple of cast on methods here on the one thing. So another way, and I am using a circular here, but I just say I do a slip knot here. Just put that through there. Oh, am I going to be able to do this actually? All right, no. Okay, so this changed my mind. That's the cast on method and how it looks. Okay, so traditional cast on method I will show you now, and I'll just pull this knot out. Hang on. Which one am I doing? Oh, now I'm making a mess. Hang on. Okay, so I'm back. So traditionally you just do a slip knot, and I literally do it like I do. I just pull it through like this, kind of like you're doing a shoelace, and I push that needle through. Actually, since this is circular, I better go this side, and I've done it wrong. Okay. The important thing when you do the slip knot on the traditional cast on method is that the string end, oh my god, sorry, the short end, the tail end is closest to you, okay? You pull that out. Okay, oh my gosh. So you grab your needle, and I don't know if you can see this very well, oh my gosh, and you push your needle through this way underneath, so you might just need to tighten it a little bit. Grab your yarn and you go under the needle, over, through, until you create that little thing. Now it's a knit stitch, but instead of putting it onto this needle and keeping it on, you push it back onto that one. Okay, and so we do the second one. So you go in through this side, under, over, through, and then put it back onto here and pull it tight. I'm not doing this very slowly. Maybe you can slow it down if you need. Watch it again. Anyway. And I'm not going through all the ins and outs of knitting, basically. I'm sure people do this better. I'm not a great instructional person on video. I'm probably so much better if you're sitting here with me and I can teach you. Anyway, through, under, over, through, put it back on, and you just continue that way. So that's still nice, but that's the traditional cast on. But I don't like it as much because say you come to the edge of a beanie or the edge of a sleeve or something like that, or even like the edge of a jumper, the neckline and that kind of way, this cast on method stays really tight, so it doesn't stretch. The other way is really simple and easy, but it does stretch a little bit. It's got a little bit of give, so it's kind of better in a way. So yeah, that's cast on so far. Okay, I'm back with part 2. We've cast on 42 stitches, and now I'm going to show you how to do the knit stitch, which we're kind of already done with the cast on. If you want to knit along with me, I'm making a dishcloth. All you need is cotton yarn, 100% cotton, and cast on 42 stitches. I'm using 4mm needles, which is the average one. I can't remember what US size that is. I think it could be a 6, but I'm not 100% certain off the top of my head. Sorry. Biggest thing to know when you're knitting is that the tail should always be facing you. You want your stitch to be this side, so it's like that. You do not want it to be, I'm just trying to show you the other way. So I don't know if you can tell the difference there, but it's kind of like not correct. You'll see that it's longer, it's just, and it will make your stitch look funny if it's on the wrong way. So you just pull that down. Okay, so you want this, you go in, you can pull it tight if you need to. You take your yarn. Now when I was taught to knit, I was taught to wrap it round my little finger and then pull it like this so that you hold it tight. You go under the needle, over, you keep holding this tight, you pull your needle through so that it collects the little stitch that's there, and then you pull it off, and you can pull that a little bit tight. You don't want to pull it too tight, because then when you go to knit the next row, it'll be too hard to pull it. You want it to be tight enough. Hang on. So as I was saying, you want it to be tight enough that it stays nice and neat and doesn't look too loose, but then you don't want it to be too tight. If it's too tight, it gets too hard to knit, and and then you stretch it and it looks all funny and bumpy. Okay, so I'm just doing it a bit quickly there. So basically you just put your needle through the stitch, you go under, over, through, pulling your right hand needle through until you hit the little thing. You just push it through and push it off. And if you need to push this needle down to help get the stitch off easier, you can. So you just go through, under, over, through, and you can push it down a little bit and off. The good thing about pushing it down a little bit if you need to is that I hold on to these stitches and they come up the needle with me, and there's no stretching then of the yarn. If you stretch a lot, this bit here gets really stretched, and your knitting when it's finished will look quite bumpy, funny, not even. So it's really important to get your tension correct, and also the amount of stretch correct, because that will lead to a better looking garment in the end. And it's just something that comes with practice, so don't panic at first. So this is a dishcloth, which is quite simple to make if you want to make one. Otherwise you could do like a mini scarf, or you could just start with squares and then piece together a blanket, which is what my first project was. And then I did a scarf. So it's just practicing. You just practice as you go. Yeah, so in through the stitch, under, over, through and off. Now this is the knit stitch or garter stitch. Usually when I make a dishcloth, I use 5.5mm needles. I'm sorry, I think they're around a 7 or 8 US size. I don't know off the top of my head, but 5.5mm, and it makes it a bit quicker. And I cast on a few less stitches, probably around 36 or 38 stitches. I am going quite quick. Maybe go back if you need to. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So this is the first row, and I'm just through, under, over, and through, grabbing that little yarn and taking it off the needle. Now this is the way I was taught to knit. There are a few different methods. This is the traditional method. It is a bit slower. A few newer methods have been created, but I don't know. I've never been taught. This is what I've been taught. So, and you just got to watch there. Your last stitch doesn't come off, because mine nearly did. Okay, so that's first row of knitting done. Now I'm going to quickly show you how to do purl. So it's basically the same, it's just the opposite. So when we were knitting, we had our working yarn stitch at the back. With purl, you have it at the front. And you want your needle to be under the yarn. So you want your needle to be over here, over the top, okay? And towards you. And towards you is called the front, and away from you is called the back. Okay, so when we're knitting, we normally have our yarn at the back. Purling, we have it at the front. So we bring our needle. So if we're knitting, we go in through the front way like this. For purl, we do the opposite. So we have our needle over the yarn, our yarn over the needle, sorry. And instead of going in through this way, we come the opposite way and we go under this way. So we go under like this, so that the needle is on top, not under like it is with knit stitch. And you kind of have to hold it a little bit, or I do. Now instead of going under and over like a knit stitch, you do the opposite. You go over this one, so over this one, under this one, pull back towards you, and instead of pulling out like that with a knit stitch, we go backwards, okay, and then pull it off. So we go through this way, right to left, over that one, under that one, holding on to our yarn quite tightly, pulling back, and we'll pick up the yarn through the other way and then pull it off. So over, under, pull. So it's basically the same, just a different way. So this is purl. And once you learn how to do these two stitches, you can pretty much do anything. Because every pattern is pretty much a combination of these two stitches. Okay, so we go over there, under, over, through, and off. That way. Okay, I'm just being quiet because, yep. Oh, and I stuffed that one up. So what I'm going to do, sometimes you do that and you go through half a stitch and you miss it. So what you can do is grab the little loop that's there, push your needle through and pull it back off, and you're reattaching your stitch. So then when you go through again, this time you can do it correctly, and I've got all the stitch off. So that's just a way of fixing a mistake. Every loop we do, every stitch we do, sorry, the loop will be underneath. So if you make a mistake, it's very easy to just put your needle through that loop. Okay, I'm back. It's Louise, and I'm knitting part 3 of dishcloth making. I've showed you, if you want to learn how to cast on and the basics of knit and purl stitch, please see my other 2 videos. But here's the pattern that I've kind of made just now. So if you're wanting to knit along, I cast on 42 stitches. I did a row of knit and then purl, 4 rows of knit stitch, and then another knit purl. So I'll put the instructions in the description, but this is what it's going to look like, and I'll keep repeating that pattern until I get to as high as I want, which will be about 28 centimeters high, I guess. It really depends on how big of a dishcloth you would like, and then I'll cast off and it will be done. So I make lots of different dishcloths. I love dishcloths. I use them in the home. They're biodegradable, so you know you can reuse them time and time again. They're made from cotton. You just use them as a normal dishcloth. When they get dirty, throw them in the washing machine, give them a wash, hang them out, dry them, reuse. And you can do that. They last for years. And then at the end of their life, you can even compost them. So they are a brilliant thing to have. Most people don't realize that the sponges that we have in kitchens are actually plastic, and so you're sending millions of microplastics down the drain. Using cotton is a much better alternative for the environment. And I do have some dishcloths knitted in my Etsy shop if you want to head over there. Or DM me, and I can send you a link. But yeah, if you want to make your own, go for it, because it's so easy. You just knit them. Yeah, and this pattern I'm just making up as I go, so I'll put that in the description if you want to do it. Give it a try, you won't regret it. The only thing to be careful of with knitted dishcloths is the knives. Sometimes they can cut a hole in them, especially the serrated knives when you're washing with them, so just be careful of those. Otherwise you're pretty good to go. So I love them. The ridges are really good at getting a lot of the hardest stuff off your dishes, and is in place of a scourer, and they're just beautiful, soft and cotton, and I really love them. So I've been using them for years and years and years, and highly recommend. But yeah, if you want to go back to my other 2 videos and find out how to cast on and learn how to knit, and this is a great starter project, one that can be really useful. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Okay, so this is the end of my dishcloth. I lied, it's actually 18 centimeters in length, so that's what it looks like. Done. And now I'm just going to cast it off. So to cast it off is really quite the same as knitting. So it's really quite simple. Instead of putting it on the other needle, you literally just move it off. So, oopsie, where did that go? So we're knitting, casting off knitwise. We go under, over, pull through and off the needle with the first one. We do the same with the second one, under, over, off, just as the same as a knit stitch. And this time, instead of continuing on to knit, we put our needle through the first stitch, and we literally pull it over the top of the other stitch and off the needle like that, keeping our yarn tight. Hey Smokey, hop down, darling. And so again, through, knit, off, put our needle through that one and over the top, and holding that through. And that's very simple. That's how you cast off. Really is, if you can knit, you can cast off. So that's what we do. And so now I've gotten to the last two, and it's exactly the same. You just knit the last stitch over and you pull the last one over, and then you have one stitch left on your needle. Then all you do, is pull your needle out, hold on to the loop that you've got, get your yarn, you may have to cut it if it's still really long, and you literally just push it through the loop to the other side, and you basically just make a knot, and that's all you have to do. Now it's done. That's the end, and that's the finished piece. So then you need to sew in the ends, which are these tail bits, and you grab a knitting needle. So I don't know if you can tell on this, but it's quite a blunt end. It's not sharp, it's blunt, and it's got a big eye piece down the bottom. I'm not sure if you can see that. And that's so that you can get the yarn through the end. And so you just thread it through, turn it over to the back, and you literally get your needle and you push it through the back and make the back loops. And I like to go in sort of like a zigzaggy type shape. Try not to go through the front, because then you will see the thread on the front of it. So you just basically sew it through a few times, the back loops, and once you've done that a few times, you can literally just cut it off. Where have my scissors gone? Over here. And I literally just cut it off, and now it will be nice and secure. You'll also have the little one down the end where you started, and so you just repeat it. So pull it through and sew it through a few times. I hope you can see this. It's sort of recording off to the side. Oops, my thread came out. I'll just do a few more because I don't want to do too little, because it will come undone if you sometimes. So I like to try and do it as much as I can. Again, remembering not to thread it through the front, and I've just messed that up, so I'll just cut it off there, not cutting that, and that is done. That is my dishcloth done and ready to use. And there you go. So show me what you make. I'd love to see it. Put your photo in the comments and tell me if you've made it too. And again, it wasn't 28 centimeters, it was 18 centimeters long. So there you go. Enjoy. I can't wait to see what yours looks like. Thanks, bye.